Okay, I have a function here that I want to take the derivative of. And to do that, I'm going to have to apply a couple different rules. So the first one that I see is going to be a product rule, which is shown here that I'm circling or that I'm boxing in blue. And then here I see a quotient rule that I'm boxing in red. And then I also see a power rule, which I'm boxing in green. Let me go back to this red box. Box it a little better. And then green is going to be here, power rule. So I'm going to do one thing first. I'm going to say we're going to need the derivative of what's in the red, which is the quotient rule, and we're also going to need the derivative of what's in green. So now we're saying that g of x, this is what I'm naming it. I'm giving it a name. I'm going to say g of x equals 3x squared plus x divided by 2x minus 1. This is so I don't forget anything. So I'm going to take the derivative of that because I'm going to need it later. So I have the derivative of this, which is the bottom function, times the derivative of the top function, 6x plus 1, minus the top function times the derivative of the bottom function, which is just 2, all divided by the bottom function squared. Now, I'm going to take the green function and I'm going to call that h of x. 2x cubed minus 6x squared, all cubed. And this is a power rule. So if I want to take the derivative of that, I have h prime of x equals 3, which is our exponent times our coefficient of 1. Leave what's inside the parentheses the same. And then subtract 1 from your power, so that's 2. Now we also need to multiply it by the derivative of what's on the inside. So the derivative of 2x cubed minus 6x squared is just going to be 6x squared minus 12x. That's the derivative of h of x. So now if we go back to our original function, which I'm going to write down here, we have f of x equals 3x squared plus x over 2x minus 1 times 2x cubed minus 6x squared cubed. This here was our green function, which is h of x. And then in red, we had our g of x. So in order to find the derivative of our entire function f prime of x, we need to do the product rule. And that says take your first function, leave it alone, times the derivative of your second function, plus your second function, left alone, times the derivative of your first function. Now the reason I split it up like this is because I wanted to do it in separate pieces, because otherwise we might forget pieces. So if we're looking at our formula that we just created, we could say f prime of x equals, our g of x is left alone, so we have 3x squared plus x divided by 2x minus 1, and then times our derivative of h of x, which we did right there. We have times 3 times 2x cubed minus 6x squared times 6x squared minus 12x. Now we're adding our h of x, our original function, which is just 2x cubed minus 6x squared, all cubed. And we're going to multiply it by the derivative of g of x, which we had up here, which is going to be 2x minus 1 times 6x plus 1 minus, I'm going to pull the 2 out in front, times 3x squared plus x, all divided by 2x minus 1 squared. End that parenthesis. And now if we look at the entire function, we have our derivative, which is pretty long.